Not many of us today, huh?
Yeah, I guess not.
Oh, I feel so far behind right now. So much catching up to do.
Yeah.
As soon as I feel like I'm catching up, like another homework assignment or something, I feel like I'm behind again.
There's always something.
Yeah. I missed those almost 2 weeks, and I was like, oh, this won't be that big of a deal. It's only a few classes each. But by the time you watch the lectures and then you want to start the homework, there's another homework assignment. So you finish that homework assignment, and then there's another one. So I'm consistently like homework and a half behind in each class. It just feels like I can't catch up. Well, at least there's only 2 problems on the take-home exam that should help.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
Hi, hello.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen Shajesh behind, ever. This is, I think, a first.
Yeah, it's rare, and it's curious that there wasn't extra credit due today. Like extra credit from 1029
Mm-hmm.
is due next Tuesday, is due this coming Tuesday.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means about today. I mean, maybe he did that because we have, he was planning on the exam today, but
that's got to be it. I'm sure he's ahead of schedule and probably put everything up a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm actually behind on even doing extra credit because those 3 classes I missed, unless I like go watch the whole video and try to find where he puts the extra credit on the board, it's kind of hard to do it.
right. Which classes did you miss?
I missed 3 classes in math methods, and I missed 3 classes in E&M. So it's about 6 lectures. I've been through 4 of them.
Gotcha.
But whenever I cover one of the lectures that has something to do with the homework, I try to do the homework.
Yeah.
So I was telling Luke, then another homework comes, and I'm like, oh, I'm still behind.
Mm-hmm.
Struggling.
I know. I've been perpetually behind this whole semester.
Yeah. I was good through like the first 6 assignments, and then the last 2-ish been rough for each.
Yeah. Well, you seem to be incredibly busy with, working till midnight.
Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's life, though. Gotta enjoy it.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
it could be worse. It would be worse if I had to drive to SIU every day.
That's true.
That's nice. Although I would prefer to drive to SIU for my sanity and seeing everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's an extra 90 minutes each way.
Yeah, it's like it's if I speed, I can get there in an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a county in Illinois called Alexander County, and there's like 2 cops in the county, but they just sit on the road and just ticket people. There's actually a lawyer in the town that I live in, just across the river, the bridge from Illinois, and his sole purpose is to get tickets from Alexander County and take them to the courthouse. Like, that's his job, because so many people drive through Alexander County too fast, because there's a small town called McClure, Illinois. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's if you blink your eyes, you pass through it. And that's one of the places where the cops sit. Well, the reason they do that is because the speed limit is 55 pretty much this entire highway. And then when you get to the town, for like a blink of an eye, it changes to 40. And unless you're paying attention, like really paying attention that, oh, this is McClure, then likely you'll miss the sign. And so they definitely get a lot of people there, and they're well known for it.
Gotcha.
They must be doing all right, all those tickets.
Yeah.
Well, boys, 9:46.
Yeah, it's a bit strange.
Perhaps there's technical issues or something.
Yeah.
Have you guys had a chance to look at the problems? Did you get the opportunity to do that last night?
Not really. We kind of looked at homework instead.
Yeah. I don't feel like the problem is too bad, as in I read through it and understood the problem, but I haven't actually written anything down.
Mhm.
So hopefully there isn't a disconnect between me putting something on the paper and what I think I understand. And then the second problem looked very similar to the first problem, I guess, in concept. If I'm thinking correctly. I guess the nice thing about the Green's function is it's typically like point charge. I think is helpful for simplicity.
Mhm.
Perhaps the day off, maybe he thinks it's 11 o'clock today instead of 9:35.
You mean you confusing it with E&M?
Yeah, perhaps. Probably not though. He's pretty.
Maybe I'll give him a call. Just see what's up.
Well, did he mention that this week there will be no lectures? Because on Tuesday, Michael and I waited the same like this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on Tuesday, the university itself had a holiday, an election holiday, is what they called it.
I see.
So Tuesday is different than Thursday, for sure.
Oh.
Because today the university is in full steam ahead mode. So I think maybe he just, because the exams today, he anticipated not meeting. But I do remember him in class saying the benefit of doing a take home is that we could cover material on the days that the exam would be.
Yeah.
So Although I imagine he's been pretty busy too, because I think when he mentioned writing up another exam right away, I think he was like, "Oh no." He's probably pretty busy himself.
He didn't pick up the phone.
Yeah, the three exams in the class, when you have two of his classes, there's an exam like all the time. It feels like definitely definitely a bit different than I'm used to. Because how many exams have you guys done in quantum? One?
One. Yeah.
And you'll do a final.
Right. Yeah, one homework assignment, and so far just 3 homeworks. Or sorry, 1 exam and just 3 homeworks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can bite you though, you know.
Yeah, it can.
I remember the final in quantum being so hard.
Yeah, it was hard. It was really hard.
There were like 5 problems with like A, B, and C on all of them. And I remember I felt good about 3, horrible about 1, and 1 was like, maybe I can get one of the 3 parts.
Mhm.
And then I just like scribbled some stuff down and I sent it into I passed the class.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah, yeah, right.
uh,
Yeah, there was that one part where he like referenced a section from this other textbook, an older textbook or something. Like it was something to do with, yeah, polarization vectors and
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I just remember like wanting to cry when I saw that exam. Being
yeah,
like, man, we've only had 1 test in here. Luckily, somehow I did good on it on the first exam, so I felt pretty good. Not like good, but like there's no way he couldn't pass me with that grade. Good.
hmm
And then I remember his homeworks actually were pretty hard.
yeah. His homeworks were hard too. Yeah,
Are they the same this semester? Also difficult.
pretty much. Uh, yeah. I mean, I guess on some level, I feel like I'm maybe getting a little better, just because this is the second semester of going over. I mean, it's new material, but just like working in
Mm-hmm.
the notation of quantum mechanics is I think it was newer since I hadn't done it in a bit last semester, but this semester is a little bit, I recognize more concepts.
Is he hanging out in Valentine or is it QNet?
We're not doing QNet really. We're doing Valentine as well as some new just other kind of random stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because yeah, he was basically saying how typically he spends more time on QNet in Quantum 2. And since we already did that last semester,
Well, maybe when I take Quantum 2, it'll just cover the same stuff on QNet.
well,
And
that,
then
that would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
yeah, I felt really in that class I felt really behind, I think, because a lot of the stuff we were going over in QNet assumed you knew some things that I didn't maybe know already. So I really had to go through QNet
Mhm.
itself and then we started off this semester in Ballantine, like chapter 8 or something. I was pretty lost going into that class for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big jump from like Griffiths and then going to that.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, he moves quickly, and you know, given that Harsha and Angela are, you know, in his research group, it's kind of like he's talking to a slightly, you know, he's talking to a more advanced, you know, audience, I guess, or
Oh yeah, they're very good. That's the first thing I noticed about that class.
mhm.
Is I think there was just four of us, right?
Yeah, they were just
Angela and Harsha, and then it was you and me, and we were just returning. It had been like 4 years since I had a quantum class, or 3 years.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, this semester, I feel like I'm making it by, but definitely,
Have
yeah.
you guys looked into what classes you're taking next semester? Anybody?
Just a little bit, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
I haven't even looked to see what's technically offered. I saw there was some quantum computing class or something. I got an email from the department saying you could sign up for it and get credit.
I think the only core course that I have left is E&M 2. So I'll have to figure out how I'm going to get those other credits, or just, you know, meet the 8 credit requirement for next semester.
Yeah. Yeah, I just have E&M 2 and Quantum 2,
hmm
which Quantum 2 won't be offered again until, I guess, a year from now.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming it follows the same pattern.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, there's a round of students that'll be taking Quantum 1 next semester.
Yeah.
So they won't be ready for Quantum 2 for till the following semester.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, I'll see you in Quantum 2 next year.
Yeah. I guess some people do off semesters, but it's not like I would be graduating, so
Gotcha.
I would not be doing it. So I would probably be with you.
Nice. But yeah, my plan right now is just E&M 2 and Quantum 1 for next semester. And I'm not sure what I should do to, like, how many classes I should take or how many credits should come from research or different things. So,
Yeah, I think you're required 8 as a GA.
right.
So yeah. Have you taken 575?
Yeah. This semester I'm taking it with SciCat and just like figuring out which group I was going to be in.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah. That thing.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, as a master's student, I think it's pretty hard to get credit to do research.
Gotcha.
Because pretty much you either get well, that may not be true. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Actually, I was thinking about the GA contract,
Right.
because you can get a research assistantship as well, but they pretty much only award those to doctorate students.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can definitely get the research credits
Okay.
in terms of you can't get money for it
Mhm.
usually as a master's student.
Mhm.
But do any of you plan to take the qualifiers next year, or
Probably.
think about it?
Yeah, I'll probably take it next year. How about you?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm very over school though, so it kind of just depends on my mood at the time. I may just on a
Yeah.
whim decide to do it.
Sure.
I think I could do it, for sure if I prepared. But if I were to just take the qualifiers right now, I think I would do fine in mechanics and E&M probably. But quantum, I don't even.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. I would be worried about quantum, even though, yeah, I'm in quantum right now, but yeah, I feel like I need to really study and prepare for.
Yeah.
I mean, even the final of this
I
course.
feel like I could answer an array of questions in mechanics and E&M.
Mhm.
But unless I was specifically in the quantum course in a certain section, I'm not sure if you just arbitrarily asked me a question outside of something very simple
Mhm.
that I could give you a sufficient answer. I could probably answer like short answer problems, but actually working a problem, I'm not sure I'd be able to.
Yeah, it'd be good to look at the past exams. I know they have been posting them somewhere. But yeah, that'd be a good study tool.
No, they're posting the past qualifiers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely be interested in looking at that then.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Well, it sure seems like we don't have class today.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking here.
I hope there wasn't an in-person part of the midterm.
If there was, we're all exempt, right?
Also, yeah, I mean, he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about
Even if there were, he probably still would have, brought his
it. Yeah.
computer and
Yeah.
set up the camera and stuff. But yeah, I mean, he didn't mention that in his email, so yeah, I don't think he. I mean, I don't recall getting a message about not having class today, but
Right.
maybe it was just kind of assumed. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Not sure because he definitely said we were going to cover stuff
Right.
as a result of being take home. That would be the benefit. So maybe he just forgot that he said that. Who knows? Well, I guess I'm gonna work on some homework and try to catch up a little bit during this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's probably a good plan.
See if I can't chip away at this load that seems never ending at the moment.
Hmm. Yeah, it is ending though. We at least time wise, we're pretty close to the end of the semester. So
Yeah, but it's like cutting down a really, really big tree. And they're like, okay, you need to cut this thing up and grab the biggest chainsaw you got and you start cutting and then the chain breaks and then you're left with a handsaw. And now you got this giant tree you got to cut up with a handsaw, but you got to get it done because if it stays there long enough, the grass is going to die underneath the tree. And your wife really, really, really likes her grass. So it's time to get the handsaw on.
it's a serious situation.
I see the tree and I see that it doesn't extend forever, but it's pretty big and I don't have the appropriate tools to finish it quickly. So,
Got to call in for some help.
yeah, it's true.
Jordan, I assure you, in physics, everybody has his own tree,
It's a good
Yeah.
analogy.
I think probably so. My undergraduate professor said, he told me, he said, if you go to grad school and he goes, if you get straight A's, you're a loser. I said, okay. He said going to grad school and not questioning anything and just answering all the problems correctly probably means you're not that good of a student. I was like, that's an interesting way to look at it, I suppose. He said you need to struggle, which is why I guess most of the time professors make you struggle. But yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see.
right. You know, you know, I've seen a statistics once. It says that most scientists won the Nobel Prize. Maybe 15% of them were from the prestigious university in the world, like MIT, Harvard, or Stanford, or UCLA, and Oxford. So it's not the it's not things that look that they look like how they look like. Your instructor says the A's and everything. It's not like how the thing looks.
Mm-hmm.
Or how you understand that.
Yeah. I always tell my professors,
sometimes in physics you doubt yourself whether you understand it correctly or not. So
I just doubt if I can retain enough information. It amazes me how fast I lose
Yeah.
what I knew
yeah,
before.
yeah,
And then if you retell me, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember all of that. It's like there's some,
right.
instead of a solid state hard drive like my brain should be, it's the old spinning disk. And it's on that disk somewhere, but my ability to read that spinning disk is very poor. So
Have you
instead of like dedicated space where my
have you
brain can find it, oh, this is the physics part of my brain. Oh yeah, that's where I stored the information. It's like vroom, 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 vroom. Oh,
Jordan, have you ever tried to write stories or novels or something? Because I see your imagination is that kind of brain for that.
yeah.
The saw thing and the
Actually,
tree thing,
I've been told I'm a good writer,
E.
but it's not because So here's a secret. Like, if you ask me, like, all of the specifics in English, like, obviously I know what a noun is, but if you ask me any of the specifics, like, what is required to be a good English student, I
Mm-hmm.
perform poorly, like, very poorly. So,
Oh.
like, when I took the ACT, this was back when it was I think it's still out of 36 points or whatever. Like, the
Uh-huh.
math and the science section, I got 34s on. And the reading section I got like a 29, and then the English section I got like a 20 or a 19. That's not my section. So I'm like, you look at when you look at the 4 A B C D possibilities and you're like, oh, you read A and you're like, oh yeah, that's got to be it, and then you read B, you're like, oh, that must be it, then you read C and you're like, yeah, it's definitely C. They all look right. And then the last one is, of course, all of the above. And you're like, yep, I was thinking all of the above. You haven't said all of the above, you're just thinking.
Yeah.
At least, yeah, you're partially right.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's a kind of disadvantage for us in physics. We don't have that kind of MCQs questions.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of miss them from the undergrad thing.
Yeah, there's no partial credit in English, usually. If you got it right or you got it wrong. That's what's nice about physics, is that you can remember portions or like how to start a problem, and you're going to get points. That's the best part.
Mm.
And usually they give you more points on an exam than they do on homework. Like, really on homework. Look, I can't believe you don't know this. This is oriented on the z-axis. And you're like, oh, so theta equals 0.
Yeah.
I made a oopsie on the last exam because the problem where, first problem, I used the method he used in class, but of course I used theta equals 0. And then under the square root, I just made all the last terms 0. And I'm like, wait, there's a cosine and a sine term. So how could it possibly be 0? Because one term is 1 and one term is 0. And I just made it all 0. And he just wrote on my exam, no. That was it. I was like, and then when I looked, I was like, yeah, why did I make that 0? I didn't know it was going to hurt. Because I did the problem correctly, I guess. And, I did the delta function portion correctly. So I did the whole problem. And then that's what I was telling him. Like, if I would have just worked it, like, I never took this course, I would have got the problem correct. It's using basic E&M.
Well,
But
yeah. Can I ask you guys, just to feel that I'm not alone in this, do you have problems with the delta function and the Green's function? The same I do.
I'm getting better at understanding what the delta function is now. I struggled at first, but I think the biggest thing about the delta function is finding out how to treat it whenever it's inside the interval and how you can.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And how you can, switch terms. Like if you have r minus r prime, you can replace things with r prime in your problem itself, and then it makes the delta function seem a lot less intimidating. But I think the way you need to understand the delta function is just that the delta function picks out one infinite spike in, if you get that, and if you understand how and when to use the delta function, as in like, you have a problem, how do you decide what the delta function is? Well, you look at your problem, like say for the disk that we did in class, and you know that if you orient on the z-axis, then you have your radius of your disk, which is the same as, if the charge is just on the externals of the disk, or if it's across the disk, you have a different problem.
Basically, I know how, I know the definition of the delta function and the heaviside function, the step function. And why do we use them in physics? Like the heaviside function, when you use it on the surface of a material, when you get the electric field or the electric potential goes from 0 up to 1 at an instant, and that's what we use them for. Or in the delta function, like when you use them for where there's a kind of a spike in some place, when you get an electric potential or electric field, and then it goes down, it vanishes instantly, or following that. But once I see them in an integral, that's messing me up,
Yeah. I think once you get okay with seeing them in an interval and realizing that if you have some function outside of that, how that function relates to the delta function, and then the term inside the delta function being able to replace r prime with r prime, or whatever the, if it's a or whatever it is. Once you replace those things, you'll see stuff either cancel, or just handling the integral becomes very simple with the delta function. I thought the same way, to be honest with you. Like, I was very confused with the Dirac delta. Guess I'm getting a little more comfortable with it. Now I'm having similar issues, I think, with the heavy side. And on the last exam, problem that could be solved with the heavy side. I'm not sure. I think he went over it. a day that I wasn't there, but yeah. So I feel like I'm doing okay now, but I understand your sentiment and your feeling. I think I was there.
Yeah. So most of the times in the integral, the heaviside or the delta function, they cancel out. Is that what you're trying to say?
The idea is that if you use a delta function, typically it
Mhm.
makes taking the integral very easy. So
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's their purpose when they invented such a function, or they used it to make the integrals easy, and that's. But for me, I think it's working the opposite way. Once I put them in an integral, they sync themselves for me.
I know. Whenever a problem has a delta function in it, my first thought is, man, that looks tough. Or
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Yeah.
But I guess I'm becoming more comfortable with them now to the point where if you see them in an integral, there are properties that the delta function satisfies that allows you to handle those problems much more easy if you use it, because it allows you to choose a singular point, which there's an impulse, and then the properties of, hey, what is the integral of this delta function equal to, and when is it equal, the area under it is equal to 1. And then when he talked about the delta function the other day in class, and how if you have, when you take the derivative of a delta function, what that looks like graphically also helped me. So I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit better about it. I'm struggling a little bit with the heavy side stuff right now. Heavy side and delta functions in the same problem. The benefit of, I guess, greens is that it's, point charge stuff, which is, if you're in E&M, I guess it's a lot more. I guess you've seen it, but we didn't directly use the greens function.
Good morning, Dr. Shajesh.
Hey, Moses.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice. So sorry, I think I thought I informed in the email. It's only when I saw Moses' text message I realized that, so messed up.
No,
So 5
we've
of
had a
you.
good
So
conversation.
does it again?
I said we've had a good conversation, so it's been beneficial, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys discussed physics or just chatted? Both are beneficial. I'm not saying that one is not beneficial.
We talked about cutting trees down and
Good.
And how you get tickets, okay?
What it's like to.
So here's a question for you guys. Do you want me to post this lecture or this session?
I forgot it. Yeah, that's. Oh well.
Yeah,
it's not being recorded right now. It was when the meeting started, but. Oh yeah, no, it is. It is being recorded. Never mind.
Yeah, I think it is by default. I don't set it like I set it so because I always forget to do that. So I thought this is an official place. So we just at least this one, not the other one. There is a virtual room, right? What is it called? Necker's virtual lounge. That's not recorded. I thought there should be some freedom. So, okay, cool.
yeah.
Actually, on Tuesday, Dr. Michael and I waited the same way, and the last we figured that there's a kind of holiday for election or something,
Tell it again, Khalid.
Michael and I will waited at the same time for this class on Tuesday.
Tuesday was a holiday, correct? Or I messed up again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't know that. We didn't know
Okay,
that.
okay. Yeah, actually, especially you're outside country, so there is no way
Yeah,
you would
yeah.
even guess it. Yeah. So Michael did not
Yeah,
know about it?
no, I was asking him about it, and he said that after the lecture, the class time, he will go to cast his ballot to vote, or
Okay, okay.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
somehow he didn't realize it.
Interesting.
Michael's married now, so unless his wife tells him holiday, he will never know. You know, unless my wife tells me what's going on, I'm oblivious. I can put one foot in front of the other, but anything else is too difficult for me.
You're absolutely right.
Nice, nice, nice.
You know, kind of cultural thing. I think the Tushajish in India, we sometimes share the same thing. Everybody married here, when he forgot something, they tell him that because you are married, you know, not because you kind of.
Yeah. Well, probably like 6 months ago, my wife saw this meme on the internet that has a picture of a valley in the mountains, and it's like an extravagant picture with trees everywhere and like a river and all of this sort of stuff. And then on the picture itself, it says, "Honey, do you see that deer over there?" And it's the man telling the woman that he sees a deer somewhere out there, and she scans the horizon, you know, and she's like, I don't see anything. And then below that image, there's an image of the refrigerator that says, "Honey, I don't see the ketchup anywhere inside here." And that's the man telling the woman, "I don't see the ketchup." And the funny thing is that, you know, men out in a mountain with tons of trees and this vast expanse that they can spot and identify where a deer is somewhere in the woods that the wife could never find. But the wife can find the ketchup bottle in the refrigerator that a man, for whatever reason, could not find.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought that was funny.
It is pretty funny.
Good, good, good. Should I leave you guys so that you guys can have your fun?
No, you're fine. You're fine. We were just talking about delta functions and step functions before you
How
joined.
they represent for cutting down of trees.
Yeah. Although if they came up with a delta function or a heaviside function for cutting trees, it might save time. Because then, you know, there would be some, maybe that's just the big chainsaw or recruiting a friend.
Yeah, yeah.
You were just saying that when you see the delta function, sometimes it can be intimidating, even though it helps you make the integral easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm noticing that only this semester, like that there is a feeling of, oh, this is not a pleasant thing, or it's not going to be easy. And the same thing with Green's function, would you agree?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think just adding pieces that don't necessarily easily follow the general rules that you read about a delta function. So like if you have a delta function inside an integral and there's some function outside of that, it seems easy to know how to handle it. But if you start adding, now you have an integral with a Green's function, a delta function, and a heaviside function, and some function outside of that, you're like, well, this looks like I don't know how to follow the rules specifically. So
True, true. Even that statement itself, if you're able to say it, I would say that you have passed the course. I think if you're able to gather that those three things together have complications, I think that's good enough.
yeah.
I would say, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good, good, good. Yeah, but yeah, these are hard. Yeah.
And I guess individually, like we were talking about, individually they're not so difficult to handle, I suppose. We're getting more comfortable. Like if you just have a delta function and an integral, I think it's easier to understand what's going on now.
Mhm.
But when you add pieces, how do they relate and how to handle them becomes a little bit
Mhm. Mhm.
questionable.
True. True.
Even though green seems to just kind of deal with point charges for the most part,
Mhm.
which we've seen a lot in E&M
Mhm.
point charge stuff. So it seems like it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. So that's good to know. Yeah. So have you caught up, Jordan?
I was just telling them it feels like, so I missed three courses in each class, and I've watched most of the lectures now. But my difficulty is as soon as I start working on the previous homework assignment and start feeling comfortable, there was another homework assignment. So I'm still two assignments behind. Actually, almost three because it's two in one class and one in another.
Yeah.
So, and then with the midterm and the next two exams here now too, I focus my attention on that instead of specifically the homework.
Mhm.
So I feel like I'm catching up in the content, maybe not in the producing
Submissions.
submissions. Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable. So while you guys are here, do you guys want to do something on Zoom during the Thanksgiving break? Not on Thanksgiving. I think that should be for a family event. But during Thanksgiving break, do you want to extend this extra to, let's say, some graduate students and others?
Be fine with
And
me.
just get together on Zoom and just have a chat,
Yeah.
get your own coffee
Yeah.
and
Be
or
fun.
whatever you want to drink,
Yeah, that sounds good.
right? So something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I'm
Like I was
definitely missing.
almost thinking of having a potluck or something, but then it struck me that, oh, we are not supposed to have any of this get-togethers, especially me. I mean, I almost thought about it, and then I came back and told my wife, oh, we cannot invite anyone at our home, but let's get some potluck in. And then it was she who reminded me, oh, no, this is a big no.
Yeah.
So it'll especially help, I think. Even Jordan, you are also new, right? In a sense that you're not met. Uh, I think after a semester or so, it got university shut down, or have you met people?
Yeah. Last semester, if you remember, we were there for most of the semester till like the last quarter.
Yeah.
So, and then I had met a lot of people the semester before as well, before I left.
Yeah, because you were there for a week or so, right?
I was almost there for a month. I was there until basically the first exam, the full refund drop date. So I dropped for the full refund.
Okay.
Yeah, which is about 4 weeks or so.
Yeah, so I say that, like, especially for I think Luke, Rob, and Michael, I think they have hardly met anyone else other than the people who are in the class. So if we can get together, I think it might be. I mean, just a small circle also is fine. We can invite everyone, but at least if 5 to 10 of us are committed to come, then at least there is something. It shouldn't be that it should be empty. If it is empty, it doesn't matter. It's just that you have your coffee on your own. So just be prepared
I would
for
definitely come.
disappointments, and then you're okay. And we can have participation from Khaled also. Like he can get us some Mediterranean sweets or something, Middle Eastern sweets.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely missing out on that portion. I think there's the value in that is more than I probably anticipated myself. Just being at the university and being around like-minded people,
Yeah, I agreed.
it's definitely beneficial. Although I will say, being able to review the exam online is very, or not the exam, but the course
Lectures.
and lectures online is very beneficial to me as a
Yeah, a
student.
few of you guys have mentioned this, so I can try to implement this on regular courses. It'll be nice if university sets it up and then I just have to click a button, but it's not very bad. I think I can try this. Again, it depends on students if they don't mind it.
You should make it an extra credit assignment for us to send an email to the, what is it?
I think I cannot do that, right? Officially, I might be in trouble. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, only if you guys feel like I don't want. I did mention it once, but you guys pointed out a good thing that it struck me. I didn't even think about that. That it's surveillance, right? So
Yeah.
someone who is,
Could ultimately be used for surveillance if it came to that.
yeah,
I would hope it wouldn't, but
Don't worry, most people wouldn't be able to understand what was going on in that surveillance call anyways.
because I'm always worried about the I mean, how sensitive people are to the interactions that is happening. For example, I might ask a question to someone, and let us say a student is not able to answer. Now, many of us might be okay, oh, I don't know, but someone might be sensitive enough that, oh, I couldn't answer that question. And now you're putting this in it's not a public place, even then it's accessible to people. People can review it. I think there might be people who are sensitive. So I worry about it. But then it's a balance you have to make.
I
Okay,
think it would be good for their humility if if
yeah.
you're the type of person that struggled enough with that sort of situation, perhaps it would be good for you.
Yeah,
a
no,
way that
you're
you
right.
might
But I
not.
think, yeah, we should respect those things, I feel. Yeah, like I think I see your point that, like, this is like saying that how much care should we give to the kids? Oh, you just throw them out and let them struggle and they will be better off. But
I think it's
I
called
mean, many would say that
majoring in the
you have to care.
minors. I think it's called majoring in the minors, as in if those sorts of situations that could potentially arise are, I feel, not sufficient enough to say, it's not beneficial. If it's beneficial to 8 of the 10 people in the course,
Yes.
probably better to major in the majors and not major in the minors.
Got it.
There's people in the course that feel like it's not beneficial.
Yeah, yeah. So that is the call I made. Like, that is how I decide that I try to make it available because I feel more people want it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
Absolutely.
yeah. And, but at the same time, try to be careful about others.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So that's where I try to
Yeah.
not make it public.
I think that's also a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So,
The YouTube videos aren't really public. I mean, they're
like, unless they
No,
have a
but-
link, I think it's not,
right.
Well,
they're not flexible and all that.
But that's the problem. We are in a time when lawsuits become a very big, very big part of the person income.
True.
Everybody loves to sue anybody, so it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy time we are in here.
Yeah.
I like actually watching
For
the
anything.
lectures in 2 times speed. It's
Good idea.
yeah,
Thought about that.
because most of the lecture I'm I already have either notes for or feel good about, but rewatching the entire thing in 2x speed, and then whenever I get to the part where I feel like my understanding in that portion is a little not there, I slow it down and you say something and I can click pause and think about what you said. And then, or if you ask a question, like a rhetorical question, I can pause it on the rhetorical question, think for however long I want to think about it, and then unpause it. Or what I didn't notice I did all the time when taking notes in classes. I guess I can only really speak to your class because you're the only one doing this, but at least in the courses that I've had, is that I make a lot of mistakes in my notes that I'm, I guess, maybe just rushing through, or I miss something that you said that in class I can't just like rewind what you said, hear it again, or I can constantly just say, "Can you repeat what you just said?" And I feel like that would happen a lot, and be very disruptive. So it's beneficial that even if I'm taking lecture notes in class, now I realize like, hey, I don't always have to ask you to repeat or can you say that again? Or, I can just review the lecture online again and have a much better understanding of not only what you said, but exactly what you said.
Good. No, I agree. I think it's almost like I can think of like I don't like to see certain things on television too much because it goes very fast, or I cannot review it, or I cannot pause it. So reading a book is the difference that, or reading an article, newspaper article, let us say, you can really stop and think, and if you want, you can refer to it something somewhere else and come back. I think this does that job, but yeah, I've not seen it as a student, so I don't know. Whenever I look at my own, suppose I have to refer to my own lecture, I pause it at only 2 times. Like there are 2 boards usually that come up. I go all the way to half an hour and click on it, and the whole board is there because I think I'm not interested in listening. I'm interested in some point I mentioned. So yeah, for me it is 2 or 3 clicks helps me, but surely referring helps even for me. And actually this, you guys might help me. Like, so next semester when I'm teaching, or not, it won't be next semester, but if I'm teaching this again and if I had to provide these links to someone else, would that be okay to do? Or do you think there will be some privacy issues there again, making this available for others?
You mean the lectures you've already recorded, like this
Yeah,
semester?
like say in the next year when someone else is taking the course, it might benefit them to have
watch
a
it.
lecture before, let us say, or I mean, assuming that it is recorded also during their lecture. So
Yeah,
this will
for me,
be,
it's absolutely okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because we benefit from them.
Yeah, I think so. So, but do you see any issues that might come up? Like someone might think that, oh, that's not okay.
I think if you had, I mean, if we like signed a consent form or something, then
That's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, and then you'd have to keep track of those consent forms, but I don't see there being a problem. But yeah, that would be one way to cover your bases or something.
Yeah, just any written like agreement from everyone in the class. Like I feel like even if we all just sent you an email saying like I agree to be like, yeah.
And asking that is okay, right? It doesn't, like, I always feel that since I'm an authority, if I ask you, you guys have to sign it, otherwise you guys might lose a grade or something. Like, even though I might not take off a grade, like you might be afraid
Well,
that this
I
is
don't
an
think so.
imposition.
I remember like there were some instances in when I was in grade school when like a teacher was like in a program to like, I don't know, become an administrator or something like that, and they had to be filmed. And so, they would ask basically we would sign
Okay,
something saying that we were all right with, you know, the
Okay.
class being filmed.
that's good.
Um,
Okay, that's good.
and yeah, I mean, I think that's just kind of how it's.
So another way, if you did it in the future, I wonder if you just did, if it was even an issue, you could just pin your board itself, the recording. So
Yeah, that's a good point actually. But even then there are people who there are communications happening, right? So what I was thinking is that just to be really nice to everyone, but it is very time consuming and I don't think I will end up doing it, is that next time whenever I have to do this for every lecture, I'll go through it and delete everything, like delete wherever there is a participation or any
You
any
could,
person is coming in.
yeah.
I think sometimes that helps the, like, that's been beneficial, like seeing,
Seeing the interactions,
yeah.
Seeing
So-
I
what?
think so too.
the interaction.
Also,
Oh, seeing the interactions, it helps actually. So you would like the
Yeah.
interaction to be there.
Mhm.
That's nice. Okay.
I think when people ask questions, I think it either sometimes forces you to go into depth,
Good.
just answering their question.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I
Okay,
think
so the best then is to just take a consent form. That's the best. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I will probably do that after the semester or in between the semester so that you guys are not under me. Like I don't have an authority
Mhm.
at that point. So
Yeah,
that
that's a
might
good
be a
idea.
good time to request consent. Yeah.
the other real benefit of the online stuff is that I notice a lot when you start. So say we had a class in this course on Thursday and we don't have this class again until next Tuesday. If we haven't really gone through the material specifically from that lecture course, when you start your next lecture on the next Tuesday, sometimes you refer to your previous lecture as if you were just a continuation of it. And I realized that some of the things that you had mentioned before, when I'm sitting in the class, it didn't even occur to me. But had you done the lecture back to back and just gone straight, it would have flowed much better. So whenever I sit down and watch the lectures, if I watch the end of the previous lecture to refresh myself on that lecture and then watch the beginning of the next lecture, the flow and my understanding is there.
I see. I see. I
Was
see.
not there when you sit in a class on Thursday and then you come into a class on Tuesday. I feel like there's a big disconnect in the flow itself.
I see.
Um,
I see. Huh.
So yeah,
Interesting. I wouldn't have thought about that. Yeah, that's good to know. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. It might be actually more important for you, Jordan, because you're involved in so many things, correct? I mean, I can imagine that it must be much harder for you.
yeah, and I'm old and my hard drive space is full.
Tell that again, what?
I said, and I'm old and my hard
You're
drive
not,
space in my
no.
brain is full.
I don't see you as old. I mean, at least for my person, but I do see you as you're doing something harder than other students, I would say. Yeah.
Maybe in a different way.
Yeah,
Harder.
it's a different. Yeah, however, yes, yeah,
I
it's
think
different. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Like even Khaled, for that matter, I mean, he locks in all the way from Saudi, and you have been consistent, correct, Khaled? So you've been consistently attending classes. Yeah, so that's nice. Actually, Khaled has been more consistent in attending classes from Saudi Arabia than he was in than he was in SIUC. Is that right, Khaled? I think you're muted if you're talking.
I'm sorry, I've been talking. My nephews are here.
Oh.
They make some kind of.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Enjoy.
Yeah,
enjoy.
kind of noise. But I think it's the online attendance. I mean, it's a kind of had some advantages and disadvantages at the same time.
Of course.
You sometimes you have you can can manage your time, but sometimes you lost the the interaction, personal interaction, and the the when you have questions or concerns, you can sometimes feel like you are alone in this, and that's a kind of problem. I'd like to comment something about the age, because you mentioned this for the second time, Jordan. I told you last year, I'm older than you.
Oh.
So, and the
Yeah,
second thing, when you get older, when you pass the 30, I think Dr. Shajish should be the first, I think the most good example for this, the best example, the better example for this, because he's the older than us all, but he keeps the tracking of things, and he remembers things very fluently. Touch wood, huh? I read I read something about a lady in UK, I think, or USA. She didn't finish her undergrad until she was 93, and she finished it in something like 95 undergrad, and she took her master when she was 97.
Wow.
yeah, that's kind of thing that amazes me. It's very difficult when you get this. Sometimes when you recall the formulas, when you recall equations and stuff when you are in 30s, but in 90s, she is an example. And never feel old. It's okay, I think.
No, agreed.
Mhm.
Actually,
That's good insight.
the person that reminds me of whenever someone says me 90s is, have you guys heard of Alan Schroen?
Yes, you told us about him.
I mentioned it probably to you guys. So there is there's a geometrical structure called gyroid, GYROID, extra credit problem. So look it up. So you can say inventor or discoverer of that is from Carbondale, and he's 96-year-old now. And at least until last year or so, he was still active. Last 2 years or so, he was still very active. And
Wow.
now he's really tired, but I'm sure he's still, he doesn't like to meet everyone anymore. Probably it's too tiring for him to get out. But yeah, you should, it's nice to read about it. If he was 2 years before, I would have encouraged you guys to meet him. He's a great guy to interact with, actually.
You invited him in class, I remember.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah,
earlier,
I saw
whenever
him,
he used
and
to
it
come
was
to
a
my room.
great honor for us, and I was like very I regret that too much. We didn't take a picture with him.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember it after class. He is kind of example for us. It's a great thing to have some guy like him.
Guy.
Yeah.
So he used to show up in my office every other time, and whenever sometime when I'm getting out in the class, he will say hello, and then I say, why don't you come with me and speak for 5-10 minutes? So that's how I used to introduce him to my class. But maybe if we meet during the Thanksgiving break, maybe I can find out if he's available for the Zoom.
That would
He
be cool.
stays
Yeah, that would be
very
cool.
he's not strong enough, but if I can, he will surely say yes to it. But then at the last moment, often what happens is that, oh, I don't feel very good today, so he will give up. So if we are ready for the disappointment, then I think it's okay. Yeah.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
I'll be glad to.
I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we are doing it on Zoom, so it should be possible. Yeah. So let's try
Good.
that. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Good. So shall I post this lecture also today? So let's do that just for fun. Did you guys say anything wrong in this?
No.
No.
So
Let's just as a token of you sometimes relax also.
Yeah.
Except for
Yeah.
the falling trees of Jordan. That's might be kind of.
You might have some students in the future saying, "No, I reviewed the lecture over and over and over again, but I swear none of it contained anything regarding physics at all. It's not pulling me. It's not helping me with the exam."
True, true,
Uh,
true. Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Alrighty, I think I'm
I
gonna
think this is right time.
work on the exam a little bit now. See if I can't
Yeah.
make some headway.
So one thing, for the E&M homework 8, I noticed that on D2L it closed on Monday.
Okay, I will update that right away.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It was nice chatting.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Bye-bye,
Refreshing.
Khalid. Yeah. Bye, Jordan. Moses.
Yeah.
You.
Yep.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Sure.